Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to bring you the gold update now that the month of June has been officially wrapped up. In case you guys have not followed my previous videos, every single month what I've done is an analysis about how much gold we have earned during the month. And guys, I have some really amazing and pretty historic numbers that I want to share with you guys. It's really difficult for me to convey this message without showing you really the background and context of how this all started originally when I wanted to start tracking my gold and start seeing the economy of Marvel Strike Force, how that has been trending in the previous months, especially with all these new characters and teams and events coming out. Are we on the downtrend or the uptrend? And that is what I'm here to bring you guys for an update. But in order for me to convey this message, I think it's really important for you to understand where we started. So what I've done every single month, guys, I've done these recaps, right? Ever since November 2023, we wanted to take a look at what the starting balance is, where we end up at. And in addition to that, it's been very easy to track because what I do is I just follow the golden opportunity milestone in the game. I am following to a T, and if there's any exceptions made, I always document it. So for example, you can see here in this quick December 2023 recap, we started November, essentially the November 30th balance at 4.5 million gold. We ended up at 45.7. So the difference of that is essentially what is getting mapped out here in terms of the total gold spending. Now, we also need to factor in things like the war reward if there's a timing. As you can see, that happened on December 31st. So obviously we need to add that 13 million payout back. In addition to that, we also need to add back what we spent per day for every single day during the month. So in this case, I was only following the 2.77 million gold milestone, and that's why it's so easy to math this out, right? There's 31 days in December. You multiply that by the 2.77 million and gives you the 83. When you factor all this in, that means the total gold spending for the month of December was essentially 137 million gold. And on top of that, the gold balance actually increased by 54, because that's the difference of what we saw with the ending balance and the opening. And then finally, in between that is the gold spending, which is 83. Now it's pretty easy to calculate. This format is exactly the same. I also screenshot my my account profile every single month, so that way you guys know I'm not just making up numbers. I always do this every single last day of the month, and as well as the starting day, so we can see definitively as well where we started, where we ended up at, and what happened in between. And when there was any activity, I would document that as well, because you're going to see that ramping up here in terms of spending, especially with Dark Dimension 7 Gear Tier 19 getting released shortly afterwards. So let's continue onwards, and then I want to bring you guys up to speed with the month of June. January 2024 recap, Extreme X-Men team came out. Our gold balance still went up by 33 million. And on top of that, you can see in January, I still held my my consistent budget, which is 2.77 million gold per day, less 3 days. There's 3 days that I maxed out the Extreme X-Men team, as you can see, which amounted to the 18 million. And that's what I mean. I just kept track of everything I did that was not by the norms. And in this case, it was those 3 days, January 15th to 17th for the Extreme X-Men. Either way, we still actually earned 129 million gold, net of the 96 million in spending. So regardless, our gold spending was going up and our gold balance still going up, which is awesome to see. And finally, we have some comparative numbers of how much gold we're earning, right? We earned 137 in December, and then we moved to 129 in January. So I was like thinking, okay, it averages out. We're probably between that 120, 130 million gold per month. It gives me finally some context of how much gold we're earning, which gives us some sense of budget management. How much can we actually start earning versus spending, so that way we can maintain a strong balance. Now, things started to pick up in February, guys. You guys may remember this. Hive Mind came out, Black Knight completely changed the meta coming. And then I was thinking to myself, damn, and there's also a race to the top because level 100 cap was also added. So this is actually the start of where I started to definitely spend a lot more than what I originally planned, because there's just so much to do now, right? Race to the top happened where 5 of those days I actually spent the full 6 million max. We had Hive Mind where I invested in them, similar to Extreme X-Men. Black Knight came out. I immediately wanted him in the arena meta, so I unlocked him through power cores and I brought him to the max. That took about 24 million gold to bring him all the way to gear tier 18, and from level 1 to level 95 is what I did. And as you can see, with that 2.77 million gold spending per day, there was 9 days that was not factored in here for the 2.77, which we documented above, hence giving us the 58 million when you do the math there. But guys, what's crazy about this is that even despite this ramping up of gold spending, as you can see, we still earned 151 million. February was actually a really good month for gold spending and earning as well. So, I mean, it was great that that additional income actually came through. And I think that was a mixture of some of the events that were happening. But as you can see, there was some mega gold orbs happening. But yeah, it was a good month. Maybe just some additional events happening, but we didn't fully track it. I just know that at the end of the day, our gold balance was higher than what we even anticipated, which is awesome to see. Now, things started to shake up even more in March because Sword Satellite came out, the return of it with Black Knight's event. We had the 6-year anniversary, Dark Dimension 7 came out, Gear Tier 19, the Incursion 2.3 raids, tons and tons of activity, guys. And check this out, right? This is actually the start of me actually dialing back on the 2.77 million gold, and we started realizing and recognizing that we need to spend more gold to purchase Crimson Gear. 26 days out of the 31 days in March was spent up to the max of the 6 million. And even despite that, guys, even despite that, we also had an extra war reward, and that totaled 183 million gold because of the additional gold income coming in as well. What was really cool is, like, you can see here, my gold spending is only going up, right? We spent 130 million in February. We spent 170 million in March. And our gold balance still went up, guys. This was an amazing discovery because of the fact that we can see that as new things were coming out, especially like Crimson Gear, Dark Dimension 7 preparation, Incursion 2.3, the additional increase in spending was tied back and correlated to additional ways for us to earn more gold. And that was from more events, that was from us actually just getting more gold from the incursions, and as well as obviously Spotlight later on, but that's not yet in the updates yet, right? But we can see here, it was a promising sign that Marvel Strike Force was doing a good job trying to keep us up here with the gold spending versus the earning, because we were still getting that balance, which was nice. April. Escape from Kiln came, and this was the first time in the last 4 months our gold balance went down. We spent 180 million, and overall we still actually earned 162, hence the difference of the 12 million that you see there. Now, to break this down, guys, what happened here was this was actually the first month that we spent the full month spending 6 million gold for each and every single day. I was really focused in on the Crimson Gear, trying to get all the uniques and materials. And finally, we can see that we started off the month with 146 million gold from the previous month. And April 30th balance ended up being 134. So we were like, yikes. Balance started finally going down. But at the end of the day, we still had a nice reserve in our account. And this was the most gold that I've spent to date because each and every day was maxed all the way to 6 million. It was nice that Kiln actually gave us an additional 6 million from cell 40 completion, but either way, we started seeing that balance off. So that's when I started recommending that, hey, maybe 5 million to 5.5 million gold per day is kind of like that nice little balance if you want to make sure that your gold doesn't deteriorate too quickly. But overall, I was pretty happy that even spending 180, we still netted 162 earned because of that balance, and we still had a very, very healthy gold balance to pivot for events and so forth. May, this one was another kind of shocking one because of the fact that we were trying to figure out, what we were trying to do. Gold, Crimson Gear versus these new teams. Spire Society came out, Logan Trials. But what was nice and offsetting was Mercs for Money Blitz event started near the end of the month. And we saw that kind of infusion coming in, which is really, really big. You'll see later. So overall, another down month. April and May, not the great direction that we were expecting, but overall, we still saw 160 million gold earned, despite the fact that we spent 186. Again, one of the highest gold spendings that we've ever done because of the fact that there's an additional day here in the month versus April. And once again, spending 6 million gold per day. The Crimson Gear was adding up pretty heavily here, especially once wanting to build up Spire Society. Old Man Logan was a big addition into the arena. So I had to be mindful of that, but thankfully we didn't spend over, but more so we had to make sure that we were using that 6 million gold per day pretty strategically. And as you can see here, right, the gold, overall, guys, we were ending up 150, 160 million in these last couple months. Now, to the big June month, guys. This is the one that I've been looking forward to because I knew we were going to see something different compared to all the previous months. And big shout out to Marvel Strike Force. Most significant update that we have ever seen, guys. Alpha Flank came out, and for the majority of this month anyways, Merc for Money Blitz, they added almost 6 to 7 million gold every single weekend. Our gold balance started at 112 million on the start of the month, and we ended up at 131.55, as you can see in the screenshot below. And what does this mean, guys? Well, our gold balance went up by 20 million, even though we spent a record 210 million. Where did I get this number from? Well, we maxed out the 30 days, 6 million gold per day, and on top of that, I tracked that I needed additional spending to start Dark Dimension 7. So I was spending an extra 10 million. I did that for 3 days, so that amounted to 30 million extra gold that I didn't want to spend, but at the same time, I wanted to start Dark Dimension 7 finally because we couldn't keep on purchasing Crimson Gear and build up teams like Alpha Flight and Spotlight Raids for Spire Society, and at the same time, still build up Dark Dimension 7. Something's got to give. You have to go beyond that limit, unfortunately, but to my surprise, there was an extra war reward in the month because every 2 weeks there's war, right? So it just happens so that the first weeks and then the third week and then finally the final week, we all ended up getting that extra war reward, 13.6 million gold. Finally, guys, over 200 million gold earned. A whopping total of 224 for the month of June. A record month. I don't think we've ever seen this in Marvel Strike Force, and a big, testament to all the Mercs for Money Blitz events, but as well, more of the events being generous. I want to say that part of it's also tied back to obviously Spotlight Raids coming into the game, and we're getting some additional infusion of gold like that as well. Regardless, there was also a Cosmic Crucible compensation mistake for the leaderboards, which gave us an additional 6, but I backed that out just to make this a comparative analysis from a month to month. So there you guys have it. We actually spent 210, but we earned 224, and that's how our gold balance, guys, it still went up, which is pretty astronomical to me if you think about it in terms of how we kind of started from the previous few months here. So guys, we got July 2024 coming. We've seen that the average free-to-play gold spending from just being engaged, from just playing the game and going through all the daily objectives and trying to make the most of every event that comes is around that 140, 150 million mark per month, right? But it was a record month in June. This is something we're gonna have to be mindful of. We have never seen this in Marvel Strike Force. I still would recommend, if you guys are trying to maintain a healthy gold balance, to watch that 5 to 6 million mark. Use the golden opportunity milestone as your tracker. That's what I've done. The gold economy is very, very strong right now, guys, and I never expected to see such a strong showing in June. It's going to be very interesting to see how this pattern continues in July, because we've kind of set the mark now. And now that there's obviously more teams and characters, Illuminati just got announced. It's going to be telling to see how this kind of translates. Will they keep up things like the Mercs for Money Blitz? Adding that additional 6 million per weekend was almost an extra 20 to 25, depending on where your characters were at in terms of star level. So it was a very nice boost in gold. Obviously, we didn't have that. We would have still been close to that 200 million mark. But regardless, it was a record month all across the board. Let me know what you guys are seeing in your account. Obviously, with this gold infusion, it also means we need more training mats to kind of keep that in parallel, but we'll see in the telling months, guys. As per usual, I love making this update. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, exciting times if they keep this up, because this has been a welcome addition into the game, and I know I for sure was not expecting this. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.